Asa.
Oh, Asa Brocious.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Asa.
He told me I should ask you who your favorite Canadian pedal steel player was. But he also told me that you told him one time you were just a Mike Campbell looking for his Tom Petty.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. And like, you know, with certainly playing with Jesse now, it's like, we talk about somebody that has a point of view.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Did you find your Tom Petty?
Man, I mean, you know, I'm not going to claim to be Mike Campbell, and I would not put that on him. He's Tom Petty. But the way he writes and the way he thinks about music, and like just in his playing alone, you can hear the depth of this dude.
Yeah. There's, well, protest songs with great melody. He's like kind of like a modern day John Prine, but the emphasis on lyrics that are, compelling to change the times and the things that need to change. You know, a true protest song that's a great song. That's no joke. So, in that a Bob Dylan type situation there, if you think about it.
Yeah, man, and also like his stuff that isn't like maybe necessarily as topical. It's like, you know, in the way that like John Fogerty was a protest singer in ways, but he's
Fortunate
also
Son.
Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't. So it's a different thing than just like purely topical stuff. You know, it's more like giving voice to like. Once again, I don't know if this is getting too heady, but it's like the way I view what Jesse does or how he writes. He's trying to give an honest voice to what he sees or feels. He's not necessarily weighing in on like, this is what's wrong and I'm going to do this. You know, it's not necessarily didactic.
Yeah.
It's more so like, and one of the things I think like allows people to find themselves in it is that it's like, I see this and it doesn't make sense, or like it makes me, I'm infuriated, or like, you know, you're giving a name to a feeling that people have that isn't necessarily represented that well. And so he's doing that with like specific topics or events, but in his stuff that isn't topical, man, I can relate to it as a guy from West Virginia, as a guy from a largely forgotten place.
Yeah.
That is being left behind my modernity, you know, in a lot of ways. And like, there's a feeling that exists there, and there's a feeling in me that is coming from there and living in a new place now that does have some opportunity. I feel it. I can bring myself to it. I can hear in some of his songs where it's like, man, I would not have put it that way. I would have not thought to put it that way, but like, man, that says it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, he's got so much to say.
Yeah, and so it's a point of view that's already like pretty ironclad, you know? And so it's like, as a guitarist, it's like, I'm going to bring myself and my own story to this point of view that's already there, that I relate to. And it doesn't matter, like, I think, you know, he's probably a less political guy than some people would think. We're not just like in the green room talking about, you know what I mean? It's like, it almost never comes up. What we're talking about or thinking about is like day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Of like, man, you know, trying to understand what's happening in the world around you. And yeah, politics is part of that, but also just like trying to be alive in 2026, man. Trying to be a musician in 2026. Like,
Blue
we're
Dot
lucky.
Fever.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're lucky in the sense that at the moment, there's some people interested in it. There's people coming out, but dude, that could go away at any point.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very aware of that. He's very aware of that. I shouldn't necessarily speak for him, but it's like, he was in a band that had some stuff going, and then they had some experiences that are pretty cliche in the music industry. You know what I mean?
He made a record with Dave Cobb at one point, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Is that with the other band, or was that as a solo artist?
Man, I'm not sure. I feel like maybe that was with his band. I don't know that, like, I'm mostly just aware, like, generally, like, you know, I mean, they were on the road with like Greta Van Fleet when they went from like being a sprinter to like a bus or two, you know.
Wow.
Like that. So like, you know, some of the ins and outs of it I don't necessarily really know, but I know that like there were opportunities, you know, that either didn't come to fruition or didn't go, you know, which, I mean, God, how many people is that happening to in this city right now?
Yeah. Or that we were not aware of. And then you just see somebody blow up and you think, oh, they blew up out of nowhere. And it's like, no. They put in a lot of hours, followed roads that were dead ends. And
drove to Jackson, Mississippi with no.
For $500.
Dude, yeah. And honestly, if you right now were like, hey, do you want to go to Jackson, Mississippi for $500? I'd be like, yeah, I do.
I'd go there with you right now, buddy.
Yeah. Do we know anybody?
Yeah, I do. I know a couple folks. That ain't too far from Alabama. Wait, you know what I think when you're talking about Jesse and his songwriting is also there's this Randy Newman element is what you're getting at, because it's telling a story like the Good Old Boys album. I love Randy Newman, but the Good Old Boys album presents the Southern state of mind, but doesn't necessarily say that this is wrong, that it's painfully obvious that it's wrong in the lyrics. So like what you're talking about is telling a story, but letting the listener draw their own conclusions. But when you state it, sometimes when you state something just as a fact, you see how egregious it actually is. Yeah.
Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah. No, that's a really, and when I think about it, like I think about it in terms of like, you know, I understand why the Dylan comparisons are there, and certainly like, you know, there's plenty of, you know, parallels you can draw. But man, I think of John Fogerty and Randy Newman, because Randy Newman like he's not a one note guy. He's not like that record's incredible. Yeah, Louisiana 1927.
Yeah, man.
That song will, if I'm not like on guard, I'll cry every time.
It's so moving.
Yeah, it's so moving, and it's also there's so much humor in it. Mm-hmm. That second verse is like a little fat man with a notepad in his hand. He's talking about Coolidge visiting. You know, it's just like once
little
again,
fat man with a notepad in his hand.
It just sounds so good. It's like, man, if I'm ever gonna get bad news, I wish that it was Randy Newman singing it to me.
Yeah, and he said, "Ain't it a shame what the river has done to this poor cracker's lane?"
Yeah, it's like, man, dude, if you even just saying that now, if somebody was on the news and said that, people would be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, but that's the power of it not being didactic and not being like, it's wrong what happened to this place. It's like, you know, like you live or die by that sword if you choose to make your art about telling other people what their lives should be. But if you take a higher road and more challenging road of like, this is what I see around me, and there's pain and there's joy and there's like brutality and there's hope, and like if you that's a higher road, I think. But people can bring themselves to that. You can bring yourself to an expression of joy or violence or, you know, being frustrated. You can bring yourself to that. It's harder to bring yourself to somebody being like, this is what I think, and if you don't think what I think, then like, you know, fuck off. It's like,
it's polarizing. Yeah,
I'm not gonna bring myself to that.
Yeah,
that doesn't speak to me, you know.
So you're talking about how like everybody jumps to a Bob Dylan comparison, when in reality that's not really necessarily who he is, although we all, you know, have different shades. But he was, though, and I believe you were there for this. I know you played Newport Folk Festival, and, you know, obviously Bob Dylan went electric and it was crazy, but Jesse Wells broke his guitar on stage, right?
He did. He didn't break it, is like, sounds less intentional. He shattered it.
Yeah. He Pete Townsend his guitar.
He did.
Yeah,
amazing.
Or Nirvana. Yeah, Cobain was known to do as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so was that something that y'all talked about? Were you on stage when that happened? Yeah.
No, that was
Super Jam.
That was a Super Jam thing. I think maybe the next day or something. Yeah. And I don't want, it's maybe not totally my story to tell, but I think it was just that guitar is like really dark. It's his Epiphone Casino, which I love and he loves too, but it was just like, I think it was a bit dark and he was tired of struggling against it. So I was like, all right, well.
Okay, so it was off the cuff.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
the decision was maybe made like not long before.
Right on.
It
Well,
happened.
but obviously, that's his story to tell. I like
Yeah,
that.
but if the lovely people at Epiphone would like to try again, send him one.
They're easily found in this town.
Oh, dude, yeah. Very true.